So with the rise of manga and anime on the horizon or happening now, depending on when you watch this, I wanted to give a general top 10 list for people who wanted to get into manga. This will cover a wide variety, and usually it's easier to give recommendations based on your taste, but this is just a general overlist that I ran against a couple other people, and they agreed. So let me just talk about it. In this list, we're going to go over 10 manga plus some honorable mentions that I believe for new readers getting into it need to read, or they can pick up easily or have access to. So I'm just going to hop right into it. Number 10, SpyxFamily. If you've seen the top 10 anime video, you already know about this, but this follows a kind of Cold War-esque story, to which you follow a spy named Lloyd Forger, who ends up adopting a little child, Anya, and ending up fake marrying a assassin, Yor. And you follow the adventures of this trio, as Lloyd and Yor are on different sides of the conflict, but they end up being with each other and they don't know about their secrets. Meanwhile, Anya, the little child that was adopted, is actually a mind reader and knows about both their actual jobs and what they actually do. So it just follows a nice, cool shonen feeling to it. Lots of funny haha moments, serious moments, good action scenes, very well drawn, very well put together story, and it has like 10-11 volumes right now and is currently being published, so it's very easy to get your hands on. Another classic series at number 9, I believe that everyone should have a chance to read or look into, is Claymore. The anime was fantastic. I did a video on it on the past, how it held up last year, when me and people of the Boxer-chan server sat back, watched it, and got to relive it. So the manga is way better than the anime. The anime ended up spewing off from the manga. But for those who don't know what it is, it basically takes place on this medieval fantasy island where people are plagued by these demon creatures called Yoma. And to fight these Yomas, there's a thing called the Organization, which has these human Yoma hybrids called Claymores, which tend to be females. And you follow this main one called Claire, and you follow this young boy named Rocky, and you follow through this very kind of grim but very bloody and very good, very well written story, and it's kind of become a cult classic. If you are big into fantasy, if you're into a little bit darker, more evil undertones, I think Claymore would definitely be up your alley. It is a legend among legends. People love and talk about it still to this day. Number 7 is a newer romance that has come out, and I did a video on it not too long ago. When will Ayamu make his move? Ayamu is a first-year student who is a member of a shogi club. He is in love with his senpai, Yatome. I'm sorry if I, messed that up, but he plans on confessing to her once he beats her in a game of shogi. However, because he's still at the beginner level, she basically wins every time. And while Yatome suspects that Ayamu has a crush on her, she basically is very unsuccessful in getting him to admit it. And it follows a bunch of shenanigans with their friends, and their success is while showing Ayamu getting better at the game and showing people how to play shogi here and there, and they break it down to little basic levels throughout the manga. It's a good way to approach a rom-com for younger kids while also trying to, introduce them to an older board game that people still play to this very day. Very good romance. Go check out the manga review I did. Very, very highly recommended. Actual number 7 on the list, Ayamu was number 8, is Chillin in Another World with my level 2 super cheat powers. It's a fantasy comedy, isekai romantic comedy. It's a very good slew. It's currently having anime come out at the time of this recording, which is April 17th, but it follows Bonanza, who's summoned to another world from the kingdom of Clyroid, I believe that's how it's pronounced, as a hero candidate. But then they found out he's basically inadequate, and they banished him off to some dangerous forest under the pretext of he can go there and live a happy life. After basically trying to defend himself from a slime and watching his equipment fall because it was set up so he would die out there, he ends up leveling up, and then he activates the spell and basically gets infinite levels. And using his new skill, he ends up disguising himself as a new person named Philo, so the kingdom doesn't try and hunt him down if he makes waves or tries to go and basically live his life. In order to stand the conflict between humans and demons, he tries to live his own thing in this forest, tries to become a merchant. But fate, unfortunately does not want it that easy, and it follows his slew of adventures. I highly recommend. I also did another manga review on this on the channel. Please go check it out. Very, very well written. It's 7 volumes physically right now, and the anime is coming out as we speak. Number 6, Haiyuku. It is a coming-of-age comedy sports manga. I thought I would throw something like this in. Thought about Kuroko, but I'll talk about that later on in this list. But it follows our boy Shoto Hinata, who was very infatuated at a young age in middle school of volleyball. He caught a glimpse of this national tournament being played on TV, and he was inspired by this person called the Little Giant. He inspired to be that. So with him and his group of friends, he went off to do this recreational volleyball, and it ended up going into a tournament where he ended up meeting a future rival of his. That future rival, Kagayami, I believe that's how you say it. Like I said, I'm butchering things here. They end up going to the same school later on, and they end up joining this failing males volleyball team and help them rise back to the top, get back to their former glory days, and show how they can actually improve, how they bring the team up, how their people around them are improving, and it shows how much of a good duo they are while also helping everyone else improve. It also dives into the other schools. There are spin-offs that talk about their backgrounds. There are plenty of good stories well written in this, and it's a very good coming-of-age story, learning how to believe in yourself, admitting to your downsides, relying on other people. Very, very good coming-of-age story, and a very good sports manga as well. Number 5, One Piece. I know a lot of people want this in number 1, but I believe this is a perfect middle ground for everyone, especially since it's like 110 volumes physically right now, and it's very overwhelming. If you have the Shonen Jump app on the phone, you can read it on there for like $2 a month. But for those who don't know what One Piece is, one of the biggest anime and manga in the world, it is written by Oda, who some say is a genius when it comes to this stuff, but it follows a boy named Luffy. It follows Luffy, a kid who wants to be king of the pirates. He starts his age at 17 and is following the trails of what used to be the king of the pirates, Gold D. Roger, who said fame, wealth, and fortune can be all found in one place, the One Piece. Very iconic line. So you follow his journey with his crew. In the beginning, it's him, Zora, who's a pirate hunter, Nami, who's a navigator, Sanji the cook, and Usopp the marksman and all-rounder. Very good, very well-written action. A lot of people love it. Big fan favorite. If you want to go more into the classic that is One Piece, I suggest looking it up on YouTube. There are a lot of better channels that have done coverage. There are people that cover chapter by chapter, do theories. One Piece is one of the biggest things in the world alongside Pokemon and some other big franchises like Dragon Ball Z. So if you really want to learn more, feel free to look it up on YouTube, but I highly recommend at least trying to read into it. Looking into the Shonen Jump app is a very good way to get to it. Number 4 on the list is Konosuba. It is a isekai fantasy comedy. It is such a good comedy. It is one of the few series that has made me laugh and cry. The anime is fantastic. The manga, the light novels are great. It follows our boy Kazuma, who is reincarnated after attempting to save someone's life, to which he didn't need to, and he died of a heart attack because he thought a trailer was gonna end up hitting a girl and didn't. So Goddess Aqua said, I will reincarnate you to this world. I need people over there. I'm going to give you a bunch of skills. So him being a NEET sat there, was taking his time, and then she said, hurry up, you're taking too long. Start showing her real side. And he said, no, fine, I'm taking you with me. And she goes, all right, your wish is great. Wait, what? And then she got summoned to this other world. So you follow him, Aqua, Darkness, who is a tank who loves to be hit and beaten down and had the crap kicked out of, and then you follow Megumin, who is this magician who only specializes in explosion magic. It's basically if you had a fun D&D game and they put it into a book. It's very good, very funny, still being printed. Third season's coming out, oddly enough, at this time. I wasn't really planning on that, but the third season's coming out, and it is currently April 17th, so go check it out. Definitely worth it. Number 3 on the list is The Way of the House Husband, an action comedy slice of life. It follows Tatsu, who was an infamous and feared Yakuza boss, nicknamed the Immortal Dragon, who ended up retiring from crime to become a household to support his wife Miku. He's basically a stay-at-home husband, or Kaira Muran, to hear how you spell it, wife. It's basically episodic. Every chapter is its own little adventure, and it follows him coming across former people of his past, while you learn about his past in the process, everything he dealt with, and how people around him are scared of him at first, but then they realize he's actually a nice, cool guy, and they ended up befriending him. Very good comedy, makes me laugh. I think there's like 11, 12 volumes, 13 volumes at this time, something like that. Very readily available, and there is season or 2 on Netflix at the time of this recording. Number 2 on the list is Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. And it is available at this time. The anime just finished. It's not complete, it just finished. think 24, 25 episodes. The manga is up to 13 volumes. It follows an elven mage named Frieren, who is a former member of a party of adventurers who ended up defeating the Demon King and restoring harmony to the world after a 10-year quest. In the past, the heroic group included Frieren, a human hero named Himmel, a dwarven warrior named Eisen, I believe that's how you say it, and a human priest named Heitler, two different people. Before they part, they observe the Era meteors together, a meteor shower that occurs once every 50 years. Frieren agrees to see them again and offer them a better view the next time the celestial event occurs. Frieren then departs and travels the world in pursuit of magical knowledge, and it follows her journey post this event, follows everything about it, and once it gets to a certain point, it starts flashbacking to her journeys and stuff. It's an adventure, drama, fantasy, very highly rated. A lot of people are talking about this non-stop. They're buying the mangas out left and right. It is a very popular, good read and watch. I highly recommend it, especially if you want to stay on top of trends getting into this kind of thing. That is one of those I really do highly recommend. Also, I want to point out, it's also a story about her realizing that, yeah, 50 years to her is nothing because she's an elf, but the people that have passed away, like her party members, Himmel is a good example. She realizes she missed a lot of time, and it's one of those things where she's learning how to cope with it while teaching her new mentor or mentoree or trainee. That's the word I was looking for, trainee, and this whole thing. It's a nice, good story, and it's kind of a life-changing story for some people. I've heard other people say it's very good to that point, and it's affected them in a good, positive way. So, very powerful, highly recommend. But I want to jump into the honorable mentions that I have, because I have it written here. I have Kuroko no Basket, which I referred to and talked about. It's another good sports anime. Fairy Tail, a big shonen, has like 200, 300 episodes. Manga's in the 60s, I believe, and then it has some spin-off stuff. Sakamoto Days, which is up to volume 12, 13. Funny about a retired assassin just living his life with his wife and daughter, and people try to come and kill him because of his former days. Pretty good. Fire Punch, Berserk, another classic, very dark. Same for Fire Punch, very good classic, highly recommend. JoJo's creator made that one. And Domestic Girlfriend is another recommended honorable mention. If you want a dramatic story about guy slept with one woman, then ended up his father getting married, and then a woman he slept with ended up becoming his sister, and then he also slept with the mother. It's a wild story. But I want to recommend number 1, Restaurant to Another World. Restaurant to Another World follows Restaurant Nicoya, which on the 7th day of Satire, which is Saturday usually, this restaurant's main door ends up being a transportational device thing. Transportation magic was basically put on it, interdimensional transportation magic. And you see these patrons of this fantasy land come in and experience this good, amazing food. I have done multiple videos on this series, but I really highly recommend this. It shows political stuff that affects that world and carries over to characters that come in and eat this at this restaurant. It shows the struggles, it has combat scenes, and you see the backstory of Alita, who is this demon girl who was treated differently because she has horns but no magic power, and she was used to, well, I won't say used and abused, more treated differently and like thrown to the curb and said she can't do anything. Well, when she accidentally stumbles across the restaurant Nicoya, she gets a job and he pays her. The main chef says, hey, come on down every day this shows up. You'll get here super early as soon as it shows up. That way you can clean, you can do all this stuff. Then I can pay you a good amount that will help me out, and I'll feed you 3 times a day, and it's good. It follows the backstory of her and how that restaurant changes her life as the story goes on. And it follows stories of the other patrons and how they all end up actually intermingling with each other. 2 of them end up getting married for political stuff, but they actually were in love. So it wasn't a forced political thing. It's a super nice, good story. And it shows you multiple culinary foods that you probably would never have heard of or ever thought about. But it shows them in a very good light. And it goes into detail on how they taste and how it's like becoming this person of the day, essentially. Their favorite food, and that person of the day essentially becomes a reoccurring character. So good. It's such a nice story, and it's one of my favorites. It is my relaxed anime. It's my relaxed manga. There's only 4 volumes of the manga, 5 volumes of the light novel. Super small series, super easy to pick up. I highly recommend it, and there's a possible 6th light novel coming out. So that's what I think for a good batch of recommendations for people getting into manga for the first time. Some recommendations I throw out there as a general thing to cover a basis of why different, people's enjoyments and what their tastes are. Let me know what you think. Give me some recommendations down below for people, just some anime series, or not anime, manga series you guys recommend and you would recommend to others. Put them down below. Love you all, appreciate you all, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.